to SDSU-Tube as South Dakota State University is moving on in the FCS playoffs with the win over Montana State. David Brown was out in Bozeman for this game on Saturday, and he is still frozen coming back from Bozeman.
Just beginning to thaw out now.
You got there on Friday, right?
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
It was 55 degrees. I did a video blog earlier in the week. I didn't have a coat on. And then Saturday hit, and everything went to you-know-what.
When did it start snowing? Right before the game or when?
Right before the game. The temperature Saturday morning was in the 40s. It dropped down to about 1 degree by game time, and it just started snowing about an hour before the game, and it did not stop until about the fourth quarter.
The Jacks, this does not affect them anymore. This is the third straight game, really, they've played in really lousy conditions, right?
Yeah, they had the snowy game against Western Illinois back at Coughlin Alumni, and then the rivalry game. It wasn't snowing, but it was cold, and the field was muddy and sloppy and everything like that. And now, of course, this playoff game against Montana State, they seem to relish playing in these kinds of conditions.
They get 500 yards again. There was almost 1,000 yards of offense in this game. Montana State's got a pretty good offense as well. It ends up 47-40. And the Jacks, I think their biggest lead was 2 touchdowns in the second half. But talk about the beginning of this football game, the start of the game, what happened. Zach Zenner obviously had a great game for South Dakota State, but take us through the first half.
The first half, well, you mentioned how Zach Zenner did well. He scored 30 seconds into the game. They had a great kickoff return from Trevor Wesley that set up a 45-yard touchdown run. Montana State came right back down. They bobbled their extra point, and that led to a little bit of apprehension. They had 0 extra points during this game. They ran a fake extra point just for success, and then they had another extra point blocked at the end of the half by Cole Langer, and then they went for some 2-point conversions later. So they had no actual extra points during this game. But then getting back to the first half, Zenner took a screen pass 69 yards for a touchdown. He had another touchdown. He had 3 in the first half. Probably the biggest disappointment for Coach Stig and Jacks fans was the 2-minute drill that the Bobcats ran at the end of the first half to cut it to 24-20, but it did not seem like the snow was slowing anybody down.
All right, Zenner, obviously was out running people all over the field. Austin Sumner has just been unbelievable in the last 3 games. He got 9 touchdowns, no interceptions in the last 3 games. So it's 24-20 Jackrabbits at halftime, and then they get into the second half, and it's 31-26. The Jacks do build a 40-26 lead, but it was never really over. It was always in doubt, wasn't it?
It was a little bit in doubt. Montana State took the lead early in the third quarter, but then the Jacks got it right back about 45 seconds later on another long Zach Zenner play. But then, as you said, they built a 40-26 lead. Montana State scores, but then Zenner has a 69-yard run, his 5th touchdown of the day with 3 minutes to go. It's 47-32 with 3 minutes left. The Bobcats convert a 4th and 4 on a short swing pass where Stig said all 11 guys missed running back Chad Newell as he went 40 yards. They get another touchdown to cut it to 47-40 with a minute to go. But the onside kick, Dallas Goddard gets walloped. It squirts around, but Connor Landberg eventually corrals it, and they can go into Stig's favorite formation, victory formation. But the entire ball game was just bananas, just big play after big play, and the weather. It was a fun game to watch, despite me being frozen out of my mind.
And your camera was literally frozen.
Yes, I had to change batteries by putting the camera near a heat source so I could jar the frozen battery loose. It was that cold.
Their running back and their quarterback, Dakota Prukop, did play. Didn't know all week if he was going to play. Was he as good as everybody thought?
I didn't think so, and the Jacks didn't think so either. They thought he was admirable for playing, but they could tell he wasn't nearly as mobile as he once was. He only ran, I believe, 1 read option play the entire game, and they just noticed that he was a step slower. There were some third downs where he had some open space, and a guy like Trey Roberson from Illinois State, if they were playing him, he probably would have burned him for 20 yards, but they seemed to close the gaps quicker on Prukop just because Prukop wasn't as mobile as he once was.
Still, you see the Jacks give up 40 points.
Yes.
Was that a good defensive performance? It was tough to play defense.
It was
for
tough
anybody in this
tough
game.
to play defense. They did get the only turnover. Jack Sherlock stripped Prukop, and then TJ Lally recovered. That led to a field goal. But both teams took care of the ball pretty well. But even Stig mentioned that it was a fun game, but giving up 40 points to anyone is just unacceptable.
All right, but get the win, 47-40. It's the third straight win now. In the first round for the Jackrabbits. Now they go to North Dakota State. We'll have a future SDSU-Tube blog on the Bison game, right?
Yes, we will. And, of course, I will be up in Fargo on Saturday getting highlights of this game. But it should be fun. I think these players, especially the seniors, are looking forward to this. They're 0-5 against the Bison in their Jackrabbit careers. They want one last shot, and they're going to get it. And this is a team that hasn't lost since the previous time they went to the Fargo Dome back on November 1st. That was Austin Sumner's first game back from the broken foot. Wasn't nearly as mobile, but since then he's been on fire. So the Bison know they're facing a different Jackrabbit team than the one they saw just 30 days ago.
And since then, North Dakota State has lost. They
lost to UNI.
At Northern Iowa, but still this game will be at the Fargo Dome. And Zach Zenner just wants to win the game no matter what. But he is 114 yards away from 2,000 for the third straight season. He's never been over 100 in any game against North Dakota State, though. He's averaging 44 points a game, or 44 yards a game in the 5 games against North Dakota State. That's got to be one thing that the Jacks got to be able to do, as well as Austin Sumner doing what he's doing.
Yeah, and he actually had, in the last matchup, he had his career high against the Bison. I believe he had something like 80, 90-something yards.
96 yards, yeah.
96 yards.
Most he's had, yeah.
But proved that he can run against this Bison defense. Obviously, they're going to want to get him going early. But as you said, Sumner's going to be a little more mobile than he was back on November 1st.
Right.
He's hitting on all cylinders right now. He hasn't thrown an interception in 3 games. Things are looking up. I'm not going to say the Jacks are going to win this game, but they have as good a chance as they've ever had against the Bison.
All right, 2:30 game on Saturday at the Fargo Dome, and I look for more SDSU-Tube coming up this week.